Keep the Bible on cop. The Most High is my rock. TK. Rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. My rock. The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah, the Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. My rock. The Most High is my rock. Yeah. The Most High is my rock. I keep my Bible on top. The Most High is my rock. No time for cupcake and the cutting. Hit the streets and start cutting. The Israelites are bubbling. The Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can keep the stuffing. It's pagan, disdain, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button. And I feel sorry for you if you think the Lord is bluffing. That's why I hit the booth and I tell the truth. Are you fishing with the truth? Homie, where's your fruit? If the Most High is your rock, don't treat him like a side piece. Come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you keep the Bible on cop? The Most High is my rock. TK. Rock.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Yasharala. Welcome to another class here at ISBHBK. We are located here in Houston, Texas. Address is 8524 South Braesville Boulevard, Houston, Texas. Zip code 77071. The class days is Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. And Saturday Shabbat morning classes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And here in Houston, we also do the cable show. And on the cable shows every Saturday. Is it?
Saturday, right? Or is it over?
It was taken off because they still want us to announce it, but no, we're not doing it.
Okay. So yeah, the cable show is every Saturday at 8 p.m. as well here in Houston. We stream that in Houston, and also on Saturday we do the kids classes, and it starts at 2 p.m. here in Houston as well. We also got plenty of kids, pre-recorded kids classes at ISBHBK Kids. So if you got kids, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe to the ISBHBK Kids channel. And you can have your kids watch some nice classes on there as well. And we also got a school out in Norfolk, Virginia. And the address out there is 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia. Zip code 23517. Again, we also got a school out in Norfolk, Virginia. The address out there is 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia. Zip code 23517. And the class times is Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time out there. And Fridays from 7 to 9 p.m. as well. And Saturday morning class is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time out there as well. And we also got a school out in San Antonio, Texas. The school address out there is 4219 Senegate Street, San Antonio, Texas, zip code 78217. And then we got a school out in Albuquerque, New Mexico as well. The school address out there is 7710 Manal Boulevard, Suite F, Albuquerque, New Mexico, zip code 87110. And if you'd like to, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channels. Of course, ours is ISBHBK. You got ISBHBK Norfolk, which is Virginia, and you got ISBHBK San Antonio, and then you got ISBHBK ABQ for Albuquerque, New Mexico. We ask that you like, share, and subscribe to all 4 of those channels. That way you can get a daily doses of class. And out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, you got Priest Mashaba. He does the Blog Talk Radio. It's every Tuesdays and Thursdays starting at 9:30 a.m. And the link to that is blogtalkradio.com/MASHAHBA. Again, it's blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba. And we got the Israelware as well on Facebook. Back to taking orders, so if you like anything made, go ahead and place your order at Everything Israelware, all one word. So you go to Facebook, and the link is at Everything Israelware. If you'd like to place an order for a garment made. And we're also doing a raffle for a full garment, which includes a headband, a tunic, an armband, and a girdle, priced at $3 a ticket. So the raffle ticket is going to be $3 per ticket. And the winner is going to win a nice garment. Then the drawing will be done on the 27th of this month. We also got the flyer posted on there so you can see it. The school's also selling fringe shirts. So if you'd like to buy a fringe shirt, get a couple fringe shirts. That's also posted so you can see it as well. And we got the flyers in the school as well on that. And if you'd like to contact any of the priests, we got Priest Kazakia. He's out there in Norfolk, Virginia. His number is 281-707-2737. Again, his number is 281-707-2737. Then you got Priest Kwatazat right here to my right. His number is 303-557-8979. Again, his number is 303-557-8979. And if you'd like to send in a donation, you can send it into any of the school addresses. And you can Google out at ISBHBK at ISBHBK you can Google out at ISBHBK@gmail.com. And the Wells Fargo account number is on the screen as well. And also we got the Feast of Trumpets coming up, which is on the 27th of this month. And then looks like about 10 days from that, we'll have the Day of Atonement as well. So we'll have the Feast of Trumpets on the 27th. And then we'll have the Day of Atonement on the 6th of the next month of October. And then the Feast of Tabernacles, that feast will start on the 11th of October. And it'll last till about the 18th. So we're going to be getting fat.
Eating salads.
We're going to be getting pretty fat over here.
Eating salads. What's up with my? You don't like me? You don't like me?
Oh, my bad. I was
You don't like me.
what's going on.
You don't like me, so you turn my mic off. You ain't messing with me.
I had to turn your snare up. All right, so with that, that's the end of the announcements. We got a good one prepared for y'all today. So we're gonna go into today's class is gonna be on betrayal and being betrayed, and what's the mindset like for the betrayer, and why would somebody betray Christ, the Spirit, his brothers and sisters that he's working with, his nation, his family? What happens to that? What happens to that brother or sister when they decide, especially in today's time, when you see the world and you see what's going on out there? The world's filled with darkness, it's filled with evil, and you have the light, you have righteousness, and you're a part of righteousness, and you're betrayed. So we're gonna go into that. So the first scripture we're gonna go into is give me.
Go to St. John.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Go to St. John 6:64. And I like what you said about the mindset. No, first of all, get the definition of betrayal.
Oh yeah.
But it's like you said, the mindset of the betrayer, but also the mindset of the betrayed. We're gonna look at all these things, and a lot of the times, man.
Betrayal.
Here we go. A lot of the times, what's the worst part about? What's the worst part about, or the feeling of a person leaving? Is it really that they leave, or that they did something contrary to what you're used to? Nah, it's that betrayal factor that they, there's a lot of things that go into betrayal. That feeling, it's like that feeling of abandonment, right? That feeling of you stood next to me for this long amount of time. I feel like my mic is real loud. Now I feel like they're hearing me too much. Yeah. It's that feeling of you've been with me in close quarters for so long, and then you just give up. So that abandonment feeling, that feeling of somebody giving up on you, right? That feeling of they just don't care. And we got to see that we can't take it personal first and foremost. That's first and foremost. And this truth, You can't take it personal. In this work, there has to be a Judas. There has to be a Judas. There has to be a betrayer.
Okay.
And there has to be a betrayed. It has to happen, you know, and it's really to test. It's to test your level of fortitude of where are you at. Are you going to let the betrayal, the over and over betraying, are you going to let that steer you off the path? Or are you going to fight and keep fighting? Or are you going to let betrayal stop you? What does betrayal stop a person from doing?
Progressing.
Right? Progressing. What else? Let's talk about a person that's been betrayed over and over and over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. The 7th time, they're like, what?
They lose trust.
Right? But what does that do? We spoke about it the other day in Sabbath. What does that do for a person that loses trust?
It makes them, what's the word? I know
When-
yeah.
Unfaithful?
No, not unfaithful.
Like faith?
No,
They don't
I was gonna
consider.
say that.
it makes them draw back.
Yeah, like
You draw back from people, and you don't want to invest and give yourself. Think about a leader. Think about, we're all leaders in here in some capacity. So now put yourself in a leadership position, and you've been betrayed by the ones that you lead, like Yahweh Shai.
Con.
And it happens so many times, you say, you know what, screw this. I'm no longer going to put my trust or my efforts into people, right? So you become that separated man to yourself, right? Because you don't want to put it to people. You don't want to put your all. It's not you putting your trust in them, but it's you don't want to put that effort into people. Because why? Niggas ain't worth it, right? Ain't that how the mind state goes? Niggas ain't worth it. What's the point? That's what it is. What's the point? But see, the whole purpose is not for you to say what is the point. Because when you get into that mind, that's where you stop doing what you're supposed to do, what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Right? As leaders, it's like what man, think about it, really and truly, as many heartbreaks as brothers and sisters that went through. Let's just say brothers. Woman that stomped on your heart, right? That left you, that cheated on you, that did this, that did that. But you quick to jump into the next relationship, right?
Right.
Yeah, but that's a leadership position. You don't just give up on all women because 4, 5, 6 women that did you dirty.
Right.
And women don't do it either. Well, a lot of women don't do it either. Where, they try to group all the men in like all men ain't crap. But you got the next man after the last man did you dirty. Why? Because you want to have that hope that not everybody is like that.
Right.
Not everybody's going to betray you. Not everybody's going to leave you abandoned. Not everybody's going to leave you high and dry. But in this realm, in the truth, in the level that we're at, and I don't want to jump, but it ain't about us. So go to St. John 6. Get the definition of betrayal.
Con.
Because there's something in this definition, too, that we got to see that I like.
I got the definition of betrayal.
Go ahead.
The action of betraying
Right.
one's country, a group, or a person.
Right.
Treachery.
Uh-huh.
That's all I have for the definition of betrayal.
You had,
I got one.
what you got?
It says participle, passive, delivered up in breach of trust. And the definition pretty much of participle is to like be a partaker. You're a part of something.
Right.
And then you have passive, which the definition for passive that'll fit. But this definition is you just go along with it.
Right.
So you have
Damn.
you partaking in something that you're just going along with. That's something that you're supposed to stand up for, but you're just going along with it.
Con.
So it says participle, passive, delivered up in a breach of trust. So pretty much you're being passive and partaking in something that you should stand up against, but it's because you're passive, you don't want to say nothing, so you're just going along with it. That's a form of betrayal as well.
Check this out. Go to, and that's right on point. I'm gonna add to it. To betray, to deliver into the hands of the enemy by treachery or fraud. A violation of trust, as an officer betrayed the city. So, betrayal is delivering another man up by treachery or by fraudulent means. Now, where does the fraud come in? By that man trying to stick around and acting like he's a part of something, right? So what does it say about that person? Well, hold that thought. Hold that thought. So what does it say about that person, though? It's showing that that person is around for an occasion other than to do or promote what we promote, right?
Right.
Right. So go to St. John 6.
Con. 64.
Uh-huh.
But there are some of you that believe not.
They what?
Believe not.
Right. So actually, I want you to hold that. Hold on real quick. Man, I had this down for some reason. Hold on. Get out of 3 of these. Jesus. First of all, go to Psalms. Drop that John. Go to Psalms 41 and 19. Let's go to Psalms 41, 19. So, for a person, we got the definition of betrayal. So, according to the definition, where is the only place that betrayal can come from?
From within that person.
We're obviously within that person, but it has to come from within an organization. It's the only way that betrayal happens. Else it's not. It has to be some type of intimate, close relationship, or else it wouldn't be categorized as betrayal. For somebody to give you up to the enemy, that means they betrayed themselves as your friend. That's the treachery, right? That's the fraud. So read that, Psalms 41, verse 9.
Psalms, chapter 41 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
Yea, mine own familiar friend.
My own what?
Familiar friend.
Right, so who's going to betray us?
Familiar friend.
Go ahead.
In whom I trusted.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be the brother that sat next to you for 10 years and said con. It's going to be the sister that sat next to you for 10 years and saluted Yahweh Shema Lathan, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It's going to be the wife of your bosom that you cared so much for, that you were willing to forsake all for, but deep down, embedded in her spirit, she wasn't ready to forsake all for you. It's going to be your children, the ones that you nourished, the ones that you fed, that you clothed. Because ain't that what you say when they turn their back on you? You're like, man, I fed you, I clothed you, I changed your diaper. Right? But it's going to be them. It's going to be them. It's going to be your listen, he didn't say like just a homeboy. He said a familiar friend. Like, I know you intimately. But guess what's going to happen? That friendship ain't going to matter to that person. That oh, you're my brother? Well, we'll die for Christ together? That's going to be out the damn window. When this person flips, when this person's mind flips and goes into abandonment mode, your familiar friendship don't matter. Husband and wife don't matter. Because what matters? What matters with a betrayer? Their own agenda, right? Go ahead, read on.
Which did eat of my bread.
They do what?
Eat of my bread.
Yeah, they'll eat of your bread. Like you read in Judas, and their spots at your feasts. So they're gonna sit with you, man. They're gonna sit with you. They're gonna babysit your children. They're gonna be there for you in your time of need. But the one thing about them is that they had an ulterior motive the whole time, no matter what. No matter how they appeared to be brotherly, sisterly, nation-loving, there was an ulterior motive where at any moment they could change. Backstabbers. Go ahead.
Hath lifted up his heel against me.
He had did what?
Lifted up his heel against me.
Go to Job 10:19. Job 19 and 19. So this is the one thing you got to get in your mind, that betrayal is going to happen. It has to. I know we don't want to hear it, but you have to be betrayed. You have to be, there has to be a Judas. You have to be sold out. It's prophecy. But does that mean that because you've been sold out, that you got to be a sellout? Or that you've been sold out, you just give up on the mission? We got to keep fighting. Job 19:19.
Job 19:19. All my inward friends.
All my what?
Inward friends.
No, all the niggas outside in the streets.
Inward friends.
And all my close friends, what do? Read.
Abhorred me.
They what?
Abhorred me.
Go ahead.
And they whom I loved are turned against me.
You see that? This is going to be the ones you love, man. It's going to be the ones you love that you hold dearest to you. That are gonna flip the script. You're gonna be like, yo, you changed. But did they really change? Nah, it was always in them. That's why the scriptures say we always gotta prove a friend. Know those that labor amongst you now. With that being said, can you just know a man's entire intentions? Nah. You take a man face value up until the point where he shows you something else, right? You take a man for what he's showing you. But it's up to us to at least try to look for the signs. Don't just let nobody come up in your space. Because that's what they do. They come in your space, they gather information, they sit around, they wait. Right? And it's almost like that enemy. Where it says, never trust thine enemy. Well, you know an enemy, but a betrayer, you don't know who it's going to be. You don't know who is going to be the one that slides that knife. Remember how a girl did Batman in Dark Knight Rises? She came up behind him and just hit him in the back with a knife and slid it in there real slow. And then turned it. And Batman was like, oh, you trying to talk? That was Dark Knight Rises. Really? Yeah, man, he wasn't expecting no girl. She betrayed him. She slid it right in between the ribs. Boom! And turned it and held it there. And held it there. And he was trying to talk and she just kept pushing it. I was like, dang. He didn't see it coming. He thought that she was a friend. But that's how it hits, man. It hits like a cold knife, that betrayal. It hits like a knife to the back and you're like, dang, who? And then by the time you get a chance to turn around and look, you're like, damn. Read that one more time.
Job 19:19.
Go ahead.
All my inward friends abhorred me.
And get Psalms 55:12. Read.
And thy whom I loved are turned against me.
Yeah, man. Remember, it's going to be the ones that we love. You can't be betrayed by an enemy. They're already an enemy. Right. You can't be betrayed by these people in the street. They're already betraying you. They don't hold the standard that we hold. Right. And they're not portraying to. But that's why that betrayal, man, that's why it hurts. Because it hurts. It hurts. Because you just couldn't fathom this person turning their back on you. But we can't be naive. We can't be naive that at any moment, any man can say, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to walk this walk with you. Your wife can say, you know what? Nigga, I don't care how many years we put in. Your kids could be like, I don't care how much you fed me, clothed me. I don't care how much sacrifice you made for me. I ain't rocking with you no more. So we can't be naive to know that it can happen at any moment and from anyone. Psalms 55? What did I say?
Psalm 51.
Psalm 55:12.
Oh, 55.
Psalm 55:12. Jermaine, you're going to get 2 Corinthians 11:26. And then I'm on.
Psalms chapter 55 and verse 12. For it was not an enemy that reproached me.
It was what?
It was not an enemy that reproached me.
It wasn't an enemy that's going to do this. You see how the scriptures is letting us know? Yeah. The things that are written aforetime are written for our learning, man. Was not Saul David's close acquaintance? Yeah. David was right under Saul, but who was hunting him out? Who was trying to kill him? Yeah. Was not Cain Abel's brother?
God.
when he shoved that knife in his back, or however he killed him. That betrayal, man, that spirit, it's where good is, evil is also present. That spirit is always going to be around. You know why? Because all it wants to do is tear down the progress and hold us back from moving forward. That's it. That's all it is. Go ahead, read.
Come. That I could have borne it.
Right? See, if it was like an enemy, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's what the enemy is supposed to do. You can deal with that.
Right.
You'd be like, man, it's all good. I know what that nigga gonna do. I know that he's an enemy and he's playing the enemy's part. Go ahead.
Neither was it he that hated me.
What?
Neither was it he that hated
Why?
me.
Because you know when a person hates you, you know what they're capable of.
God.
But what about that person that sits around talking about they love you? They love you one day, then the next day they don't know. You like, what? I'm with you one day, riding high in the spirit, then the next day I'm on an all-time low, where I don't know if I can even blink my eyes. I'm so low. I don't know if I can breathe anymore. It's like, what are you talking about? And you sit there really puzzled, right?
God.
And baffled in the brain, like, but just yesterday you was ready to slay giants and kill demons, and you was ready to be a spiritual ninja, and then the next day you deliver me to the demons. You leave me alone to fight the battle. You know, you got them relationships, man, where, you know, it happens. You be in this relationship for 10, 15 years. And you're not thinking that everything is all good, because everything can't be all good. But you know what you are thinking? That we've been together 15 years, that we can get through anything. That I've battled for you for 15 years. You've battled for me for 15 years. Right?
God.
So we're going to keep battling. That's the mind that you're in. You're like, we're going to keep fighting. My boo, she got me. She got my back, son. And then what? Let it get a little bit harder than it was last year. Let it get a little bit more uncomfortable than it was last year. And it's like, no, there's no more fighting me. Nigga, you got that. You got to do this by yourself. Or I don't believe in that no more. It's like, but how? But why? And then you got to swallow that pill. You got to swallow that. It's like one of them horse pills, man. You got to swallow that. It's a hard pill to swallow. Betrayal.
Yep.
Because you look back at all the time you spent and put in, all the effort. You feel like you wasted time. You feel like you wasted a lot of time and energy. But we can't feel like that. There's nothing wasted if it's done out of a good conscience. There's nothing wasted if it's done out of love. Now it's for us to learn and sit back and learn from our whatever mistakes we made. That's it. But never look at the effort you put into building another person's spirit as a waste. The word of the Most High don't go out void. You had your hand up?
It just, man, like on a Saturday, you brought it up. I was just thinking about like all the things that you could possibly go through. And there's times where there's even times where you can recognize people like changes or like you said earlier, how they were moved different, things of that nature. But yet if your intentions are well, then that wouldn't even move you. You know what I mean? You'll stay locked in to what it is that you feel is appropriate and right.
And that's the point, to see what's going to move us.
Right.
Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? A betrayer? A person that faked like they was with you, but they really wasn't? Nah. Because really, what does it take from you? Well, what it takes from you is a demonic person that's around. That's what's taken from you when they leave, that demon, that negative. So it's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's not always a bad thing. We gotta look at these things not always bad. But and we're gonna go there. That's on one end of the pendulum.
God.
The betrayed. But what about the betrayer? See, it's not good. Their intentions aren't good. Go ahead, finish it up.
Con. Neither was it he that hated me,
Right.
that did magnify himself against me.
Right?
Then I would have hid myself from him.
Go ahead.
But it was
So
thou.
it was who?
But it was thou.
Go ahead.
A man mine equal.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a man of your equal. It's going to be somebody that's in close quarters. See, the scriptures give us the warning. So that way when it does happen, you ain't dumbstruck. You're not losing your wits over man or woman. Like, damn, man, that brother, man, he was there with me and we fought and I remember this. Man, I can't go on no more. Nah, you can go on. The scriptures tell you that you can. Go ahead.
My guide.
My what?
My guide.
Read.
In mine acquaintance.
Come on.
We took sweet counsel together.
Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. You're not going to be caught up in when are you going to betray me, right? No one gets caught up in that. Like, when are you going to do it? You're like, nah, we got to go handle business. We got to work. We got to make things happen. But when it hits you, that's the thing. It hits. You taking sweet counsel. You going out, hanging out with brothers, sisters, right? You invest all that love and care into a person, and they just shut you off, light switch. Boop. You don't matter to me, and that hurts. It can hurt. It can really shock. It can really strike a blow to one's ego. Only if you're egotistical. It shouldn't strike a blow. You should not really be too affected by it. But you have a lot out there that happens to them, and then now with suicidal thoughts. Now I'm not good enough. Oh, no one likes me. So we can't let, to the ones that are trying to walk the path, let the betrayal move us off the path. Finish it up.
And walk unto the house of the Most High in company.
Right in company. Go to what's the other one I call?
2 Corinthians 11:26.
Go there. I just added this one and it just came to my brain.
2 Corinthians 11, verse 26.
You got one too? No. Oh, go ahead. You got it? You got this? In there? 2 Corinthians. Oh, go ahead.
In
I
journeyings,
didn't want to take you.
often,
Go ahead.
in perils of water.
Read up real quick. 2 Corinthians what?
11.
And verse. Right. Go to verse 23.
2 Corinthians 11:23.
This is going to show you that the job don't stop. The mission doesn't stop because of betrayal. That's part of the mission. Go ahead.
Are they ministers of Christ?
Go ahead.
I speak as a fool.
Read.
I am more in labors,
Right.
more abundant,
Come on.
in stripes above measure,
Right.
in prisons more frequent.
Yeah, see, this was Paul here, again, laying down his pedigree. Are y'all ministers in Christ? Are we ministers in Christ? He said, I speak as a fool, because me, I'm more abundant than you. I'm more of this, I'm more of that. He was setting the stage that if any man could boast, he could boast more. But righteous. Wasn't being prideful, wasn't being arrogant. Because you had men that were like that. But he was showing them, like, look, this is what I'm doing. Go ahead.
In stripes above measure.
Go ahead.
In prisons more frequent.
Right.
In deaths oft.
Read. You can read down to verse 26. Go ahead.
Of the Jews 5 times received I 40 stripes, save one.
Yeah, think about that, man. What's 5 times 40? 80 and 80 is 160. Right? You add another 40. That's 200 stripes.
Yeah.
Come on, man. From his own people. Read.
I 40 stripes, save one.
Right.
Thrice was I beaten with rod.
Come on.
Once was I stoned.
Read.
Thrice I suffered shipwreck.
3 times suffer shipwreck. Go ahead.
A night and day I have been in the deep.
Come on, verse 26.
In journeyings often.
Come on.
In perils of waters, and perils of robbers.
Read.
And perils by mine own countrymen.
Come on.
And perils by the heathen.
Read.
And perils in the city.
Read.
And perils in the wilderness.
Read.
and perils in the sea,
Come on.
and perils among false brethren.
Wait, who was he amongst?
False brethren.
Yeah. Throughout all this, there was going to be false brethren. False brethren that appeared to be ready to go through the perils, but then when perilous times come, what does it say? What does it say about perilous times? Right? It says in the last days, perilous times will come, and what will happen? Men will be lovers of themselves.
Gun.
So I'm going to betray you to make sure that I'm good.
Gun.
So all these perils were going on, and Paul had false brethren around him. And when did they get revealed? When the times get going? What does it say?
When the going gets tough.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going. But there's another one that said, I forgot how it goes. But yeah, the times got tough, man, and people ran. They ran from the perils. They weren't ready to go through the perilous times. They weren't ready to catch them stripes for you or with you. They'll talk a good one. Yeah, we're gonna do this together, brother. All the way to the kingdom. Yeah, babe, you're my number one love. So what, you got number two? The hell? You're my one and only. Love of my life. She got your name stored on her phone. Love of my life. But let it get hard, and she'll find a whole new love of her life. Let it get hard. She'll abandon ship and act like you never existed. Go ahead. That's it. That's it. Now go to St. John. So we understand betrayal gotta come from within. It's not a if or an and, it's a must. It gotta come from within, but really, where does it come from? Because is everybody's intention that betrayed you to betray you in the beginning?
Hate, jealousy, violence.
Well, those things can come from it, but it's one thing. Think about it. Does a person that's been around you 15 years, or 10 years, was their first intention like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be with him for 10 years and I'm gonna betray him? Nah. That thought process is developed. It's developed through time, through what though? Read St. John 6:64.
St. John 6:64.
Read.
But there are some of you that believe not.
So betrayal comes from what?
Believe not.
Yeah, man. Betrayal comes from misbelief. Misbelief in the mission. Lack of faith in the current mission. Because you could be with a person, or you could be around a brother, and the mission is one thing, and he's gung-ho, ride or die. But then the mission changes, and what happens? He ain't with that. He ain't with that mission. You think Judas was just anti the whole time he rode with Christ? Wow. Of course not. That would have been revealed off the top. Right. So he was down for some things, whatever suited his spirit, whatever made him feel comfortable, whatever made him feel good. But then again, as soon as it got a little uncomfortable, as soon as it got a little bit perilous, it's like, whoa. I ain't with this. Go ahead, read it again.
John 6:64. But there are some of you that believe not. For Yahushua knew from the beginning who they were that believed not.
And this is where we're not Yahushua. We don't know from the beginning who believes or who don't. Or excuse me, who's going to betray and who's not. We don't know a man's or a woman's intention. We hope for the good, right? We hope that everyone that comes through, they abound. That's the hope. Or else we be plucking cats off at the door. Nope, you look like you fake. You look like you phony. You look like, but can we judge that? So we gotta let every man come in and play his part and develop whatever thought process he's gonna develop. And if it's bad, root it out. If it's good, we ride with it. But we have to let, and that's the thing about betrayal. You just never know when it's gonna hit. You never know how long it's gonna take. You don't know who it's gonna be. You have to let every man play their part. Every woman play their part. Until it happens or it don't. It's scary. But it shouldn't move you. Like Paul said, none of these things move me. It shouldn't move you that a person is like, yeah, I don't want to be around you. Or I don't want to do what you're doing no more. Or I don't want to be associated. Like, you should be happy. Read on.
Who they were that believed not,
Right?
and who should betray him.
Right?
And he said, therefore, said I unto you, that no man can come unto me, except if it were given unto him of my Father.
Now, check that out. Whew. Y'all understand what that's saying?
Con.
That the ones that betrayed Yahushua were sent by the Most High, man.
Con.
Because why? We have to go through this part.
Yeah.
We have to. You have to go through it to test. That's a test of your armor, man.
Right.
That's almost like the last test, right? That's like one of the last things Yahushua went through before he got offered up on the cross, man. Was that betrayal by Judas. He went through 3 years with this man. I would have wanted to cut his head off. I would have wanted to take his face off, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you dirty Negro. You. I would have wanted, man, come on. I rode with you for 3 years, and we weren't on some Rudy Poo missions. I was giving you the keys to life. And this how you gonna do me? Man, I would have wanted to behead him. And then put his head back on, bring him back to life, and do it again. And put it back, and do it again. I know me, extreme. Go ahead.
Verse 66. From that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with them.
Why? Because they lost faith. They lost belief in the mission. They lost sight. They lost vision. They lost the care, the love. Go ahead.
God.
Then said Yahushua
Right?
unto the 12,
Mm-hmm.
will ye also go away?
Like, yeah, you gonna betray me too? y'all gonna follow y'all lust too? You gonna give in to Satan also? What they say?
Then Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life,
Go ahead.
and we believe.
So it shows you that the 12, they understood they understood what they needed to live. The words of eternal life. They didn't lose faith because times got hard. They looked at the bigger picture. They didn't lose faith because it got a little bit rocky, because the boat, there was a storm and it was, you know what I mean? Like the boat was rocking and they didn't lose it. Like, man, this nigga's just leading us into death. They understood what they were amongst. That's why we get betrayed a lot of the times too. People just don't understand what they have. They don't understand that beacon of light that they have. And they lightly esteem the brothers and sisters, the unity, the love that's around them. Go ahead.
Verse 69. And we believe and are sure that thou art that Christ.
Right. They were sure that what?
That thou art that
You
Christ.
see that? They said that we believe. And we believe. That's where betrayal stems from. Misbelief. And a lack of faith. Not in man, because I don't want nobody to have faith in me. I'm scum. I am the bubble gum on the bottom of your shoe with all the dirt and all the stuff stuck to it. That's me. So don't believe in me, but believe in the mission. Believe in your in the Most High in Christ and what you were called for. Go ahead.
That thou art that Christ, the Son of the living God.
Right, read on.
Yahushua answered them, have not I chosen you 12,
Right,
and one of you is a devil?
read.
He spake of Judas Iscariot.
Now, how come Yahushua didn't just avoid it? Yahushua knew that Judas was going to be the one.
God.
He might have not had the intent right then and there, but he knew. Because when you read the scripture, it said that Yahushua knew all men.
God.
He knew what was in all men. So how come he didn't just not pick him? Like, You come with me. You come with me. Nah, bro. You have to stay here. You, and you. How come he didn't just skip around Judas?
Well, because Yahweh, his father, sent him, and in order for the mission to be fulfilled, Judas had to betray him so that Yahweh could die for us. He had to betray him so that that spirit also could be manifested in those that were following Yahweh in faith and in truth could also see that.
And also, that's a good point. But also, Yahweh was giving Judas the chance to not do what he was going to do.
Okay.
He was giving him the chance to renege on his niggerdom, to renege on his evil. He was giving him a chance the whole time. From whenever that thought process developed, and then even when he went and got the dough, and
Which wasn't even really dope.
right, he didn't get no money really.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into that, but he was two things were at play. Remember, it's the betrayer and the betrayed. So, what is the person that's what the person that is gonna betray is always next to the person they're gonna betray to see what? To see reasons why not to. To see, oh yeah, there is real love. Oh yeah, there is real care. Oh yeah, that's how you love a person. That's how you be there for a person. That's the mirror. The mirror is for you, for that person that's for Judas. For all you Judases to look at, I'll say it, but to look at the Christ next to you, right? The example of Yahweh next to you, and say, damn, you know what? What am I thinking? Why is this evil in me? But it's up to that man to want to not execute what it is, whatever negative he's going to do. Because, again, you could have Judas intentions right now. But if we keep continuing in the love, the charity, the peace, the patience, the hope is that gets rooted up out of you. Right? But think about how much you have to deny. Think about how much Judas had to deny Christ for that spirit of Satan to ride in him. Think about it. But, oh my gosh. Let me go here real quick. I'm sorry. Go to Hebrews. Hebrews 12:3. And it's going to tell you right here. It's very plain. Hebrews 12:3. Read it.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 3. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself.
Right, that's speaking of Yahweh Shai. It said, look at him who endured such contradiction of sinners. Think about how adverse and perverse Judas had to be to deny the power of Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, bro.
To deny the power of Christ right there in front of you, and to let Satan enter and take over and do his bidding, bro, there had to be a great contradiction. But think about it. Yahweh Shai had to withstand the contradiction, just like we have to. We can't let the contradiction of sinners or a man that's going to betray us pull us off the path, or a woman or a child or a brother or a sister. We got to endure that. Read it one more time.
For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself.
Read.
Lest ye be wearied and faint in your mind.
Yeah, because that's what it wants you to do, man. You be wanting to faint in your mind when you're like, wow, why did you do that to me? Wow, why did you do that to that person? Why did you just offer them up for nothing? It makes you want to just, listen, truthfully, man, it makes you want to give up on people. That's what that spirit wants you to do, is give up on people. As a leader, as a husband, as a wife, it makes you, as a father, as a parent, as a guide, as anyone that is leading a person, it makes you want to say, man, screw it. What's the point? But we know We got to endure the contradictions of these sinners, of these betrayers. We got to push past that and stay on our mission. Remember, when you read verse 1, or when you read verse 2, Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross. Part of him enduring the cross was enduring that betrayal. He endured the cross for the joy that was set. So we got to endure our cross and bear our burden. And part of that burden is going to be around false brethren, false sisters, false children, false niggas. And what you got to do? You got to endure to the end. You got to stay on your path. Right from there, let's go to where we going?
We're going to go to Matthew chapter 26, verse 14. We can read up on this brother Judas, man.
Book of Matthew.
And we can really see what did Judas get for selling out Christ. We're going to go into this real quick.
Yeah, what you get to do is see, well, are these things in me?
Got it.
Do I got the Judas in me? Or do I got the Yahweh Shai in me?
Got it.
Because anybody on all levels could be Judas, man.
Got it.
You could be a sellout. What's the title of the class? Don't be a sellout. Don't be a Coon sellout. Something. You could be a damn sellout on all levels, man.
God.
Because that's what it boils down to. You a sellout.
Got it. Jermaine, give me Exodus 21 and 32. Read Matthews.
Book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, Iscariot, went unto the chief priests.
Go ahead.
And said unto them, what will ye give me? And I will deliver him unto you.
So one thing I wanted to point out on this was they didn't go to Judas. Judas went to them. So Judas was the one looking for it. So when you got somebody that has that spirit of betrayal in them, like they want to betray somebody, they're the ones that's going to be looking for when they can actually make it happen. Read verse 15 again.
Read verse 14 again.
Verse 15.
Come.
Go ahead.
And said unto them, what will ye give me? And I will deliver him unto you.
So he goes to them and he's asking them, what you gonna give me? And I'll give him you. Go ahead.
And they covenanted. Did I say that right?
Covenanted, yeah.
And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver.
So they promised him 30 pieces of silver, right? 30 pieces of silver. Now, I was doing some research. I was trying to find out how much 30 pieces of silver what was it worth in today's time. So the only thing that I could come across was that it was only worth $185 in today's time. So Judas sold out Yahweh Shai for $185. That's nothing. Read. Go to the Exodus.
Yeah, it's nothing compared to a man that got the keys to life.
Con.
You 12 don't lead me too? Why? You got the keys of life, and we believe. Well, nigga, I don't. So let me get my buck 85 real quick. Come on, man. But then
185.
Our people be selling. Our people sell this truth out for less these days.
Con. But the point of him being sold out for 185 was to show that to Judas, Yahweh Shai obviously wasn't worth anything. He wasn't worth anything.
No.
Not to make it.
No, you're right. He was worth something. He was worth $185
in today's time.
But even in that time, he was worth whatever value he got. Right. Yahweh Shai was priceless.
Right.
The wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, eternal life is priceless. What Yahweh Shai was giving them was priceless. Judas had the audacity to put a price tag on what Yahweh Shai came with. He said it. What you gonna give me? This greedy nigga took whatever they gave him too. He didn't even bargain.
Well,
he didn't even bargain.
When I was reading up on it, man, it said that the high priest, they was like, it was showing how much the high priest, like, they didn't think anything of Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
That's why it was like, bro,
$50.
I'm like, here you go. And he's like, okay, I'll take it.
He didn't even bargain shop. He didn't even shop around. He just took the first offer.
Reread that. Go to Exodus chapter 21 and verse 32.
Man. Sad.
Read
He's going to go to Exodus 21:32. Go ahead.
Exodus 21:32. If the ox shall push a man's servant or a maidservant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver.
So there you go. You got 30 shekels of silver again. So if an ox was to gore a slave, you will give the slave master 30 pieces of silver for
that slave's life.
For that slave's life.
Damn.
So that's a slave. That's not counting somebody that's free. So that's how much. It just goes to show, man, what Judas really thought of Christ. He didn't think of him like the scripture said in John, like how Peter thought about him. Where we gonna go? You have the keys to life. Judas didn't think like that. So that's one thing about the betrayer that you'll see. Betrayal will sell you out for anything. Anything. Ain't no morals, ain't no codes, ain't no, nah, man, we've been doing this for years. I'll sell you out for anything. A woman will leave a great man to go to some trash. I'm gonna just put it plainly as that. That's for some trash.
Yes, you'll leave a man of wisdom.
God.
You'll betray a man of wisdom because he got the sparkly rims that are worth about $30. They got dents and dings and they old. You'll betray wisdom, knowledge and understanding, and cast it off to the side, and you'll sell out the wisdom for money. We gotta go ahead.
I think that's another reason why that betrayal hurts so bad. Because it's like the person that's getting betrayed, they know what they're worth. And when they get betrayed, they're like, bruh, this is so that means I know what I'm worth to you. I know what I've done for you.
Right.
Like, you're not appreciative of it.
I know what I'm trying to bring to you.
Gone.
Because, we don't look at our worth. I don't look at my worth as worth in anything. I'm not worth anything, but I understand what I do possess.
Gone.
And what level of wisdom, understanding through the scriptures I possess, and where you can be a benefit for a person. I benefited myself through this wisdom.
That's actually the word that I should have used.
Yeah, beneficial.
Yeah.
I benefited myself through this wisdom, so why would I not be beneficial to others?
Gone.
But for a person to say, well, yeah, the dude with the dime bag and the gold teeth, he's more beneficial to me than you trying to get me to wear a head wrap, a dress, and read a Bible.
Be modest and be virtuous.
Or, this job is more beneficial to me than you trying to make me do some other job or be a priest. You got to see what you're really betraying and what you're tossing to the side.
Gone. Verse 16. Go back to Matthew. Go back to Matthew's. Read chapter 26 and verse 16.
Salaki. What was that? Matthew 24 verse 16?
26 and verse 16.
26 and verse 16. Come. Book of Matthew.
Start back at 14.
Book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Iscariot.
Come. Went unto the chief priests.
Go ahead.
And said unto them, what will ye give me? And I will deliver him unto you. And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver.
Go ahead.
And from that time he sought opportunity to betray him.
So from that time he sought an opportunity, the perfect opportunity to betray Christ. Go to Mark chapter 8 and verse 36. But this is the thing, man. This is the thing. How you gonna betray? Think about Judas. Think about the mindset that he had to be in to betray the Son of God. You've seen him heal people. You've seen the prophecies that the scriptures talked about come true with this man. You've seen it. And he still was only worth $185 to you in today's time. He wasn't worth more. I mean, if it was about money, dude, like, why even roll with him? Why not just stay where you was at? But that's the thing. It wasn't just about the money. It wasn't just about that. It's more to it. It's never just the money. It's plenty of other things in it as well. Read that. Mark chapter 8, verse 36.
Book of Mark, chapter 8 and verse 36.
Go ahead.
For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
It says, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? So what is of the world, brothers and sisters? What is of the world? Because with this scripture, you can jump to money right off the bat. You can jump to money. But what is of the world?
Anything that's within it. It makes me think about Saul, the first king. How he wanted the chariots, the women, and the gold.
Go to Go to 1 John chapter 2 verse 16. Go to 1 John chapter 2 and verse 16. Read that Mark again. Mark 8:36.
Come. Book of Mark, chapter 8 and verse 36.
Go ahead.
For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
Gone. Because Judas sold out Christ for today for only 30 pieces of silver. So today that's only worth $185. But it's more than just $185 why he sold out Christ. There's more to it than that. Go to 1 John 2 and 16. Read.
1 John 2:16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
Because see, really what Judas wanted was to be able to go back to the lust of his flesh. He wanted a reason. Any reason to go back to the lust of his flesh. Go back to doing the things that he wanted to do. He got tired of fighting spiritually. He got tired of walking the path. It's easier to just follow your lust. I mean your flesh. Your flesh and your lust, because it talks about that too.
And they're one and the same.
And they're one and the same. God. Come on, man. You trying to stick to a diet? It's easy to just go to Little Caesars and get a $5 pizza. It's cheap. It's cheap.
God.
And it's filling. It's easy. It's easy to just go to the club and get some random chick. But it's hard to find a virtuous woman and to build that virtuous woman. But see, Judas, he wanted the easy way out. He wanted to go back to the flesh. That's what he wanted. Because see, obviously Christ is against the flesh. Christ is teaching him not to be against, not to roll in the flesh, but roll in the spirit. But the whole time in Judas's mind, he's like, "Oh no, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to hear that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want that discipline. That ain't for me. That might be for y'all, but that ain't for me." That's what Judas is thinking the whole time. Read.
And the lust of the eyes.
The lust of the eyes. Yahweh Shai said, foxes have their holes, and
Son of man.
yeah,
Birds have nests.
birds have nets, foxes have holes, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. Judas is like, man, we don't have nothing. We don't have nowhere to lay our head. We don't have no clothes. We don't have this. We don't have that. You're supposed to be the high priest, but the high priest got the long fringes, and they got the nice garments, and they're seen in reverence of men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're putting us in straits.
All right.
Wait, you mean to tell me that even animals got somewhere to lay their head, but we ain't gonna have nowhere to sleep? Come on, like you supposed to be the Messiah. You ain't the real Messiah if you can't provide us shelter.
All right.
See, but Judas didn't understand the mission, so he looked at everything carnal and looked at what he didn't have, what they didn't have, and what he wanted didn't add up to what they didn't have. So it was like, well, let me go, like you're saying, let me go get that. Let me by any means go get and fulfill my lusts.
All right. It wasn't a gift to him. It wasn't what Yahweh Shai had to offer wasn't worth anything to him. The flesh, the lust of the eyes, that was worth more than the spiritual things, more than the 12 thrones that Christ was going to give the 12 disciples. Read.
And the pride of life
Go ahead.
is not of the Father, but is of the world.
Yeah. Judas probably couldn't even humble himself, living the way they were living. Because remember how he was when the lady was washing Yahweh's feet with the oil. He's like, man, stop. We can sell that for much. That could be sold for much.
300 pence.
But he's like, Yahweh's like, nah, she's doing a good work. But it shows where his mind is at. He got pride, man. He wanted to have money. He wanted to roll around. He didn't want to be uncomfortable.
He didn't believe that method that Yahweh was bringing them through was the way.
Done.
Disbelief. He said, I know there's some of you that do not believe. So what happened? They turned away. That's the worst part, man, where you just like, yo, why didn't you just do this a year ago? And why did you wait 15 years? Why did you wait 6 months? Why didn't you just not show up? Why didn't you just not come around?
Done.
Why did you drag it out? Like Yahweh said it, whatever you do it quickly.
Done.
Right? It's like, man, what the hell? 15 years and all of a sudden now you just like came to an epiphany that this ain't you, that this ain't what you about.
Done.
10 years, 20 years, you just come to an epiphany that you don't want to roll this way, or you don't want to do this, whatever you've been doing for all this time. It's crazy, man. It's a heavy spirit. Go ahead.
And yeah, it is. Because he gets blinded. Because remember, I don't want to jump, but at the end of it, he's like, oh crap, what did I just do? And he goes and he throws it and he hates himself.
Yeah.
So he gets so blinded, he don't even realize, yeah, man. Go back to Mark chapter 8, verse 36. Because that's when that spirit gets on you, that's what happens. You get so blinded, you forget the things that's important to you. Think about it. How many women then messed up a good relationship and then they're like, oh crap, what did I just do? Or they got drunk one night and they go and they mess around and they're like, oh crap, what did I just do? They get blinded. They don't even gotta be drunk. They just get bewitched. Like it says in Galatians, you get bewitched.
Hoodwinked.
The flesh and the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, that takes over. And when that takes over, nothing else matters. You're so into your flesh and you're so carnal, you don't even think straight. You start saying things that you don't even mean. You start doing things that you don't normally do.
Yeah, doing things that you're gonna regret.
And then when you finally snap out of it, if you snap out of it, you're like, damn, what did I just do? God. Go to read that Mark 8:36 again from the top.
Book of Mark, chapter 8, verse 36.
Go ahead.
For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
Because that's what happens, man. You go and you chase after those things, man, and you lose your soul. You gain the world, but that ain't nothing that you gain it. And you end up losing your soul. You finally gained the flesh. You did it. You did it, man. But you lost your soul. Go to Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 23. Because see, this is the thing, man. Ain't nobody in here trying to lose their soul. Ain't nobody online watching trying to lose their soul either. So if you really about not losing your soul, especially knowing the truth, knowing what Yahweh did for you, seeing the examples of brothers and sisters that do this work, that teach, seeing the examples of the prophets in the scriptures, if you see all that, you know our history, you see what Esau is doing unto us, and you ain't trying to lose your soul, Proverbs 23 and 23. Go ahead.
Proverbs 23:23.
Go ahead.
Buy the truth and sell it.
Read it.
Not.
Read it from the top.
Buy the truth and sell it not.
Because you see everything. You've seen all the examples. You read the scriptures. You've seen multiple videos online. You've been through multiple classes. You see what Esau is doing. So how would you sell your soul to gain the world? Why would you do that? Nah, man, buy the truth and sell it not. Buy the truth and sell it not. In 2nd Esdras, it says that the truth is the most powerful thing. It says the truth is the most powerful thing, man. So buy that. Buy the truth. And don't lose it. What's up, Adrian?
That just like remind me of that saying in the man. Just you know that saying how they say the game is to be sold and not told, but it's so backwards. Like when you live in that backwards life, I can see how they would use that and say, oh, yeah, the game is to be sold and not told. But here it's saying clearly that you should buy the game, basically, and not sell it.
Yeah.
Because it should be giving freely.
Right.
Knowledge should be shared.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at me.
But yeah, just
Yeah, but that's it shows you again the contradiction of sinners.
come.
This is what we got to endure: the contradiction of the world against what the wisdom says. It's always going to be a contradiction, and that's what we got to remember. Everything that they do, man, and they put out there and promote as wisdom, it contradicts real wisdom. That's why it says the wisdom of this world is foolishness.
Absolutely, man. Let me ask y'all something. When you buy something, what are you doing? Like if I go right now and I buy a loaf of bread, what do I have to do to get that loaf of bread?
Got to pay.
Gotta pay. What's another form of paying?
Work.
You're giving up.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm giving up some money.
I was about to say give. Yeah, giving up something.
You're giving up something. When you give up something, what are you doing? When Yahweh Shai said, when the Most High told Abraham to give up Isaac,
Sacrifice.
you sacrifice. So when you give up something, you're sacrificing it.
Right.
So when it says buy the truth and sell it not, listen, you're giving up, you're sacrificing for the truth. It says when you find a jewel in a field, you buy that whole field. You sell everything you have and you buy that field. You sacrifice all that you have for that field. When you was in the world, before you found the truth, and you had a whole list of women, when you found that one good woman, a lot of times, man, you married her, you was like, man, I don't want to deal with none of y'all. Y'all are nothing compared to this one. You give them all up. You give them all up for just this one. That's what it's saying. It's saying, buy the truth and sell it not. Go ahead.
Also, wisdom.
Go ahead.
And instruction and understanding.
Wisdom, instruction, and understanding. That's what we're buying. Because when you have the wisdom, you can do anything. It's the Most High's wisdom. You made the world. And instruction, we got to learn how to be directed. And understand it. It says, hardly do we guess aright. So we really don't understand. Scripture says that the Most High's wisdom is double to what it is. So even when you think you understand something, it's more than that. But that's what we're buying. We're buying the truth, the most powerful thing on this earth. The Most High's truth. That's what Judas had right there with him.
For free.
For free. For free, man. And he gave it up. He gave it up for the world, for the lust of his flesh, for the lust of his eyes, for his pride that he had, and for $185 that he didn't even use, that he went and threw back. I'm not saying that using it would have made the situation any better.
But it makes it sound sloppy, but it makes it seem like he did it for nothing.
He did it for nothing.
He didn't use it.
And that's the point I was trying to make with this first point, is that when you betray somebody, you do it for nothing. Because you either betraying somebody over money, or you're betraying somebody over the things that you want, your desires, things that you're lusting over. But after you're done, it's like the scripture says, when sin conceived, when it's done, I butchered it. When lust conceives, then it brings forth sin, and when sin is done, it's like you're done. It's the same thing when you betray somebody. After you betray somebody, you're like, man, what did I just do? You're like, crap. That's if you actually cared about the person. That's if that person was worth something to you. If they were beneficial onto you. When you're done with them, you're like, man, I might. The only thing I can do is apologize. They might never get past this. How many times have we done somebody wrong and we apologize to them and they never get past what we've done to them? To this day, they still hold it. To this day, they still bring it up. When they see you, all your good works, all the good things that you've done, it don't even matter. Because they always think about that. They always think about that one thing that you've done, that one betrayal that you did. So let's see how Judas was acting after he made this covenant to get this 30 pieces of silver. Go to Ecclesiastes 19, chapter 19, and we're going to start at verse 26. So Judas makes the covenant. Okay, I'm a sacrifice for this. This is what I want. This is what I want. Then he goes back around Christ. How do you think he carried himself around Christ? Let's see. Read verse 26.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 26.
Go ahead.
There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly.
Hold on. Go back to the definition of betrayal. I'm gonna read it real quick. It says this goes right with the definition. It says to give up by treachery and fraud, right?
Kind.
You want to say that?
Kind.
Or did I make that up? One of these pages. Read that one more time.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 26.
Right.
There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly.
Right. See, it says betrayal, to deliver into the hands of an enemy by treachery or fraud. So that hanging your head down sadly, that's the fraud.
Kind.
It said there's a wicked man that hangeth his head down sadly. Go ahead.
But inwardly he is full of deceit.
And that's a cold one, man. Because think about it. If you've ever been betrayed before, I've been betrayed. But the betrayer will make you feel like, sometimes the betrayer makes you feel like you're the one doing something wrong.
Oh yeah.
You're the one that's making them sad. And you're like,
or it's your fault.
Yeah, it's your fault.
It's your fault why
you're causing this.
It's your fault why I'm leaving. It's your fault why I don't believe. It's your fault why I don't like this life. It's your fault. Jermaine.
It makes you feel. They make you feel like you're doing something wrong, or you're not good enough, or you messed up in some way somehow. Read that from the top.
Ecclesiastes 19:26.
Go ahead.
There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly.
No, it's a good man.
A wicked man.
No. He's a godly man.
Wicked man.
See, this man is wicked. Got the wicked intentions.
Or you know something else that they do? They'll know that nothing is wrong with them, but they'll pout. They'll act depressed. They'll act sad when they're around this person that they're gonna betray. And as soon as they leave them, they're good. They're fine and dandy. But as soon as they come around the person, that's the problem.
That's that fraud. That's
sad.
That fraudulent spirit, man. That betraying, that treachery. That's that treacherous, man. That's disgusting.
Time.
Look into the camera. Disgusting.
Time. Go ahead.
Disgusting.
There is, so like from the top?
Yeah, you can read it from the top again, man.
God. Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 26. There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit.
So you can imagine Judas just being around Christ, and he's like, after he made the covenant, or even before he made the covenant, because he was thinking about a way to sell him out anyways. So you could think about him being around Christ, and he's like, man, I'm just not getting it. I'm just sad. I'm not getting it. Maybe the Spirit's not with me. Such and such. I'm scum. I'm filthy. I'm not worthy.
I'm unworthy. Yeah, I'm not good enough to be with you, Yahweh Shai.
And the 12 disciples. But inwardly, he's just full of deceit.
I'm not good enough. I'm not ready. I'm not this. I'm not that. Nothing positive.
God.
Nothing positive like, oh, you here to show me? Okay, let me run with that. All negative.
God.
Hanging down his head sadly. What else? Read.
Casting down his countenance.
Yes, purposefully. Casting down his countenance to sadness.
God.
Go ahead.
In making as if he heard not.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I didn't hear that. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't. Oh, what'd you say? Oh, can you repeat? Oh, man, you know I'm just going through it.
Just in my head.
I'm in my own emotions. Go ahead.
Where he is not known.
Read.
He will do thee a mischief.
Right, because what did he do? What did Judas do? Where he was not known, he ran to the priests. And was like, listen, how much y'all want for this dude? Causing mischief, man. Go ahead.
It's like when Delilah betrayed Samson.
Yep.
Whenever Samson will tell her the wrong thing, whenever Samson will be like, oh no, you gotta bind me with these ropes, or you gotta bind me with these chains. Whenever it didn't work, when she was trying to find out, she hung her head sadly. She was like,
yep.
You don't love me.
You don't love me.
You don't love me.
You don't love me no more. See, why wouldn't you tell me what's gonna kill you?
Why you keep lying to me? I'm not worth anything.
With that same voice.
Hanging down sadly like she finna cry. And then he's
cry?
like, oh man.
I think she did cry. It said she wept bitterly in his ears. To the point where he was like, man, listen, just cut my hair and I'll die. Because she hung down her countenance around him like, you just don't love me no more. Baby. But why? Baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she did it to do what? To deceive.
God.
That's a good point. Samson and Delilah, same thing. Treacherous, fraudulent. I'm going to appear one way, but be a whole nother way inside. It says there's a wicked man that does this.
God.
It ain't a righteous thing to do. Go ahead, read.
God. Casting down his countenance and making as if he heard not. Where he is not known, he will do thee a mischief before thou be aware.
God. Go ahead.
And if for want of power he be hindered from sinning,
go ahead.
Yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil.
Yeah, when he finds that opportunity, he's gonna do it. I wonder how much Delilah sold out Samson for.
She sold him out so that they wouldn't burn her father's village.
Oh, really?
She sold him out for her family. Yeah, remember they threatened to burn up. Her to kill her father and her brothers.
Dang.
Yeah. But think about it. Did she have to go betray Samson, or could she just went? Could she have just went to the strongest man on the earth,
right?
And said, "Listen, they trying to kill my fathers if I don't tell them your weakness," and he could have took them all out.
God.
Remember, through your temptation, the Most High makes a way out.
God.
You don't have to be a betrayer. You don't have to betray people. Just don't follow the temptation.
God. Go to Galatians chapter 5, verse 7. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 7. Cause yeah, man. So you had Judas, man, hanging his head down, being deceitful. But think about it. He wasn't like that in the beginning. He wasn't just hanging his head down. In the beginning, he was okay. He was rocking with it. He was rolling. Think about it. When somebody betray you, they don't just come. You don't just meet them, or you don't just get with them and they just hanging their head down. Nah. It had to be some good times, and then it went sour. Read Galatians 5 and 7.
Come. Book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
Ye did run well. Who did hinder you, that ye should not obey the truth?
And this is the thing, man. We be running well. We be moving. And then we get hindered. You hit a pothole in the street and you get a flat tire. And then you don't have a donut in the back of the car, so now you get hindered. You can't move no more. You moving, and then as soon as something happens, you unprepared. You unprepared for it, so you run and you tumble and you fall, you trip and you roll. You like that turtle that fell on the back of a shell, can't get back up, can't roll over. You was running well, you was moving. And then you got hindered. Go ahead.
Verse 8. This persuasion cometh not of him that calleth you.
Yeah, that's not from the Most High though. The hindrance is not from the Most High.
Come.
It says when a man is drawn away, he's drawn away of his own lust.
Come.
That's not coming from the Most High. The Most High doesn't tempt man. He don't tempt us with evil. You the one that hindered yourself. Judas hindered himself. We hinder ourselves. But we hinder ourselves how? Read.
Verse 9. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump.
Why? Because a little leaven. We let a little thing get in. And when it get in, we don't cast it out. We don't get rid of it. We just let it build up, and we let it build up, and we let it build up, and we look for a way to do spite to Yahweh Shai's cross. That's what we do. Think about it, man. If you have an all-white shirt, and you're eating some wings, and some sauce falls on the shirt, you're gonna wash that shirt. You're not gonna let that shirt. You're not gonna keep wearing the shirt with the sauce on it.
Right.
And then eat some wings again, and then you get more sauce on it, and then the shirt just keeps getting worse and worse and worse to where you're like, you know what? Finally, I don't even want the shirt anymore. I just want a new shirt. You don't do that. You wash the shirt. So that's how it be with us, man. We let that little bit of leaven get on us, and we don't wash it. We don't purge out that little bit of leaven. We let that leaven stay, and we just let it build and build and build and build and build until it just consumes your whole body. It's like if you see your bread, your loaf of bread, and you see a slice has mold on it, you're like, yeah, this gotta go. You don't just let it sit, and then the mold spread to all the other loaf slices. You get rid of it. But see, we be doing that though, where a thought comes in, that temptation comes in, and we don't get rid of it. So we get hindered. It holds us back, and it holds us back, and it just keeps building and keeps building and keeps building. And then eventually, you fall out, you sell out, you betray. That's why Christ gave Judas all this time while he was rolling with him. Judas had 3 years. He had 3 years to get rid of that leaven. He had years to get rid of that leaven. Years to wash that shirt. To get rid of that slice of bread before it took over his whole body. But nah, he was cool with it. Go to Job chapter 23, verse 11. Job chapter 23 and verse 11.
Book of Job, chapter 23 and verse 11.
Go ahead.
My foot hath held his steps.
Because this is what he just stopped doing. He was running well, but then he stopped. So when Judas stopped, his foot, he quit holding Yahweh Shai's steps. He quit walking Yahweh Shai's path. Read. His
way have I kept and not declined.
Yeah, he kept keeping. He was like, man, I don't want to do this no more. This ain't what I want to do. So he started declining. In that race, instead of you running with the pace that you used to run with, you start slowing down. We're all running the race. But then you start slowing down. You keep slowing down, and then eventually you just stop. Can't go no more. Go ahead.
Verse Salakia. His way have I kept and not declined.
Go ahead.
Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food.
Fine. Wow. The words of Yahweh Shai's mouth, this word, it's more necessary than food. And we know that. Scripture tells us that.
Right.
Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that come out of the mouth of the Most High. But see, when you start falling back, it's like, oh nah, bro, I'd rather go eat. I'd rather go partake. I'd rather partake in these other nations. I'd rather eat with them. And partake with the food that they eat.
That's all that.
Go to Galatians chapter 5 and verse 1. Galatians chapter 5 verse 1. So all this is what's happening to Judas. Before he actually comes to the point to selling out Christ, all this is what's happening to him. This is what's going through his mind. Because everything happens in stages, man. Everything happens in stages. You don't just wake up and in 1 second and you're like, oh man, I'm done. You betray the Son of God? Nah, it took time. This was a buildup. This didn't happen overnight. This was a buildup. And this is the buildup. This is the buildup that happened. He started hanging down his head. He started bargaining. I'm gonna sell out for this. I'm gonna sell out for the car, the clothes, the house, the Cardi B's of the world. I'm gonna sell out for that. Go back into the flesh. That's what I'm gonna sell out for. That's what you start bargaining for. Then you start hanging down your head like you're not gonna do it. Like you don't got wickedness in you. Like you're not a spot in the feast. You stop running well. You stop running like you used to. That zeal ain't there no more. That fervency ain't there no more. You start pulling back. That's everything that was going on with him and with somebody that's about to betray somebody before they actually go through it, when they're going through the plans. That's why if you murder somebody and you get that premeditated murder charge, more than likely you're going to do life. Why? Because you were able to sit there
And think about it.
It's called premeditating murder. You meditated on it. You was premeditating. You was meditating on that for a minute.
You thought about it before you did it.
You thought about how you was gonna hide it,
Yeah.
how you was gonna get away with it, when you was gonna get them, or how.
You thought of it.
Yeah. You let it marinate, and that's why you get more time for that than just a manslaughter. Manslaughter, you wasn't trying to hurt nobody. You just didn't use no wisdom, and you was drinking and driving, and unfortunately, man, something bad happened. Vehicle manslaughter. But premeditation, oh yeah, you was like, as soon as this dude get off, or as soon as he comes over here, I'm gonna get him. You thought about it. You let it consume your spirit. And that's what happens to somebody that's betraying somebody, man. It becomes like premeditated murder. And that's exactly what Judas did to Christ, man. Premeditated murder. But why did that happen? Because he lost sight of everything that Christ was doing. He lost sight of who he had in front of him.
Disbelief. Lack of faith.
Lack of faith. Galatians 5 and 1.
Galatians 5 and 1.
Go ahead.
Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Hamashiach hath made us free.
Yeah, he wasn't standing fast no more. Standing fast meaning fixed, firm. He wasn't standing firm and fit. He wasn't doing that no more.
Solid.
Read.
And be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
That's what he did, man. He messed around and got tangled again with the yoke of bondage. That's like you had that cord, that one real long cord that got tangled, and you untangle it, but somehow you just threw it back in the box full of cords and it got tangled again, and you like, golly. That's like what happens to you. You was tangled up in the world. Yahushua set you free from it. He untangled you, but you somehow got tangled up again. Why? Because you didn't appreciate the fact that you didn't appreciate the fact that Yahushua chose you to untangle you. You didn't appreciate that. And then 2, you didn't take it seriously. And then 3, you was like, I'm going to go and dib and dabble again. And then you mess around and got tangled up in it again. That's why the scriptures say, touch not, taste not, handle not. Don't even come close to it. You was gonna say?
It's just like, as far as like people don't understand, it's like the truth is what sets you free. And like at one point I didn't understand what that was. I'm like, what is the truth? And it's like, the truth is the book. And it's like, okay, what is the truth still? But it's like, it's everything. It's everything that's like, as far as like the laws, the statutes, the commandments, the judgments, it's everything as a whole is what sets you free. And you have to be premeditated on that in order for you to stay away from the things that can draw you out of it.
Go ahead.
So,
go to Revelations chapter 2, verse 2. Revelations chapter 2 and verse 2.
Revelations chapter 2 and verse 2. I know thy works, and thy labor, and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil.
See, Yahushua knew this. He knew our works. He knew our works, our labor, our patience, and how we couldn't bear these wicked ass people. Slack it for cursing. And he gave us a way. He woke us up. He gave us the path. Even the things that our spirit cry out for, that we can't utter, that the spirit makes intercession for it, he gives us that too. Read.
Come. And thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars.
Yeah, man, we was in the world. We seen these pastors. We seen Joel Osteen. We seen all them, and we were like, nah. Nation of Islam, we seen that. We was like, nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. Or we thought it was it until we found Christ. We really found the truth, and we was like, oh yeah, this is it. We really got free. Everything started making sense. Everything started clicking. Verse 3.
Come. It has borne and has patience, and for my name's sake has labored and has not fainted.
So we found all this. We come into the truth. And we start learning about patience, and we were born in it. We started learning about patience, and for Yahushua's name's sake, we labored and we fainted not. We started fighting. We started going through tribulations and trials and all that. We was doing this in the beginning. But read.
Verse 4. Nevertheless, I have somewhat against thee, because thou hast left thy first love.
But see, all these things that we were doing, we left that. We left off the patience. We left off the laboring, and we started fainting during the laboring. When the scriptures say, be not weary of well doing, we know we're doing well. We know we're doing the right thing, but we get weary of it to the point where we faint. We start to faint. But we start to faint. Why? Because we left our first love.
And because where you at?
I was at verse 4.
You're at verse 4, right?
Go ahead.
And you faint because of the evil that's around you. We can't faint because of these people, these types of individuals that are, you see a brother going off or a sister going off or whatever the case may be. You can't let that make you faint in your spirit. That's why I said, consider Yahushua, who endured such great contradiction of sinners against himself. Now, this is the thing. They really ain't coming up against you. The betrayal ain't against you. And we're going to go here, right?
Yep.
They ain't against you. So you can't take it, the key is not to take it personal.
Okay.
Not to take it personal, but to take things biblical. I had to tell that to a brother the other day. Don't take it personal. Look at it through the Bible. And you'll see that it's biblical. The things that we got to deal with when we execute judgment and how we got to handle situations. It's never personal. It's always biblical.
God, man.
That takes away all the emotions. It should. All the, he don't like me. All the misunderstanding, the misthoughts, the evil suspicion. Right? It takes away from you having to faint. and fall off of your first love by looking at everybody else and the negative that they do. Go ahead.
We're gonna jump to
They had asked about Judas, was he always a thief? They don't say it, you don't really give too much background on Judas. But it said when he had that money bag, he was stealing. So, you can only really imagine that it was already in him. From when? It doesn't say.
and it never came out.
What you mean?
You were saying it was already in him, so
Yeah, it was in him. It was him. I mean, think about it. They were around Yahweh Shai and doing things that they were put in an arena to reveal what spirit they had on them. Right? So Judas was in charge of the money. Well, if you're a thief, you're gonna steal.
Right?
What was Peter's demon?
faith. It's faith, yeah.
Faith. but yeah, Peter had a couple.
Yeah, faith.
He was a little bit he was a little too rash, right? As soon as the centurion came, he cut off his ear.
Yeah.
He wanted, he kind of wanted things to happen the way he thought they should happen. I mean, he denied Christ. So his issue was faith. It was brought out in the instances. So, it doesn't go too in depth about Judas and how long he was stealing and when he started stealing, but that spirit was in him. That's why he was in charge of the money. Let's get that spirit up out of you. If you got a demon on you of that sort, you're going to be put in that arena to see, are you going to give into that temptation? Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. You see that? So you're going to be put in arenas and trials that are tailor-made to whatever spirits you got on you.
Got it.
And it's up to you to endure. He didn't have to steal. He could have been like, man, I got a covetous problem. I got a problem with coveting. Let somebody else control the bag. The money bag. I don't want to say the bag. It's like a stripper's bag. Go ahead.
Go to Matthew chapter 26 and verse 46. Actually, read verse 5, Revelations 2 and 5, and then somebody else can be Matthew 26 and 46.
Revelations chapter 2 and verse 5.
Go ahead. So you forgot your first love, right? Go ahead.
Remember, therefore, from whence thou art fallen.
So if you find yourself in this situation, you got to remember, man, from whence you're falling. Read.
And repent and do the first works.
And this is what Judas didn't do.
And
Go ahead.
or else I will come unto thee quickly and will remove thy candlestick out of his place, except thou repent.
And that's the thing, man. Gotta repent, gotta change. Gotta repent, gotta change, because at one point you had that love, man. You had that fire and that zeal. You was moving. And then you lost it. And Christ is saying, man, repent. Light your candle again. Put your candle back in place. Be that light that you was meant to be again. Because if not, I'm going to come and I'm going to remove you. Simple as that. Simple as that. Go to Matthew chapter 26, verse 46.
Matthew 26, verse 46. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doth betray me.
Go ahead.
And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves, from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, Whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he. Hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Yahweh Shai and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. And Yahweh Shai said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Yahweh Shai and took him.
Man, I should have put the one in here where he says, man, you betrayed the Son of Man with a kiss?
Betrays down the Son of Man with a kiss.
Bro, you betrayed me with a kiss? But think about it, man. That's the only way you can betray somebody. It's with a kiss. Why? Because that person meant something to you. That person obviously became close to you to where it was like, that's it. Only somebody that's close to you can betray you.
My close acquaintance, my dear friend, the one that took sweet counsel with me.
God.
You see, it's coming full circle. That's what it is. It's sickening and sad that it got to come down to someone in your inner circle, offering you up. But this is the only way that it will come to pass. It's the only way it can happen.
With a kiss. With a I love you.
Betray us thou with the I love you.
With a I got love for you, bro. Go to 1 John 4:20. 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20.
That's the treachery, man. That's the fraud.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It's like
show you this open love. I'm gonna show you this open affection. I'm gonna make you feel.
I'm gonna open myself up to you. I'm
Well, no,
gonna make myself vulnerable.
Or I'm gonna make myself appear vulnerable.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna make myself appear vulnerable because in me, I can shut it off. You ever meet them people that can just shut the light switch of emotions? Women are good at it. I mean, a lot of women are good at it. When y'all hit that light switch on your man, and he just means nothing. He's worth less than dirt to you. Come on. And, I'm not saying it's hard for men to do it, but for women, when y'all get to a point of y'all are fed up, when a woman's fed up or a woman's scorned, y'all will hit that light switch on a dude so fast. But then, see, the problem with that is when you get practice at that, you'll do that to anybody. It don't matter. Husband, boyfriend, children. See mothers do that to children. They flip that switch, they don't even know they own babies. They don't even know they own babies, man. So you don't want to be practiced in that art of cutting yourself off, because then what will happen is you will give yourself to a person. You will open up to a certain extent. And then when it's no longer convenient for you, because betrayal is also convenience. When is it no longer convenient for me? Well, I know I can just put that wall up, move on. But think about what you do to that person that you just walled out. See, that's the sad part about this betrayal, is that the betrayer don't consider the people that they tried, the people that they. It's almost like you just try to destroy a person's whole just countenance, their will to move around. It's almost like you try to break that down. But there's no consideration for that. Where you at?
Actually dropped that 1 John. That's one that we hit all the time. We're gonna go to Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 4. Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 4. Because this right here is what happened to Judas. When you read the story, you see that Judas. When you read the story, after they take Christ and they start doing what they're doing to Christ, Judas sees it and Judas repents, and he's like, "Man, I have sinned, where I betrayed the Son of Man." And and that we look at that, and when you betray somebody, and you start seeing the toll that it does to the person, when you finally snap out of it and you see what you've done, sometimes the damage is too late. Sometimes it's some damage that you can't come back from. Or if you come back, it's never going to be the same. But see, for Judas, it was too much. He had to kill himself. Well, he didn't have to kill himself, but that's how bad it got for him. But he was like, "Man, I can't live with this." Go to Hebrews 6 and 4.
Hebrews chapter 6, verse 4.
Go ahead.
It is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted of the heavenly gift.
Tasted of the heavenly gift.
And have tasted of the heavenly gift.
Go ahead.
And were made partakers of the Holy Spirit.
Go ahead.
And have tasted the good word of the Most High and the powers of the word to come.
Go ahead.
If they shall fall away to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucified to themselves the Son of the Most High afresh, and put him to an open shame.
Right. But that verse 4, it says, for it's impossible for those who were once enlightened. It's impossible, man. Once you've done what Judas has done, it's impossible for you to come back. It's impossible. Because you've seen it all. You were there.
And you didn't value it.
You didn't value it.
So what's going to make you value it a second time?
God.
Nothing. That's why you got some of those people. They look back, they're like, man, you know, I had that one great relationship in my life, and I wish I never. And I had that one girl, man. She was dope, and I messed it up. And I've never. And all you get is demons after that.
Yep.
Yeah. You forsake that to the point where the Most High was like, I'm not going to give you that again.
God.
Not everyone is so lucky. You got to be careful. We got to be careful what we count as nothing and what we don't put value on. Because that's where Judas messed up. He put value on the wrong thing. He put value on money. There is no value on money when it comes to Yahweh Shai. When it comes to this work, this truth, you can't value it. You can't put a value on wisdom. You can't put a dollar amount on wisdom.
God.
So we got to be careful what you value. Where your heart is where your treasure will be also. We got to be careful, man. Where is your heart? And what do you treasure? What do you hold dear to you?
Go to 2nd Ezra 1 and 27. Then another brother give me Hosea 4 and 6. So we're going to jump to 2nd Ezra 1 verse 27, and then Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6.
2nd Ezra, chapter 1 and verse 27.
Because when you turn away, you don't just turn away from the Most High and your brothers and your sisters and your nation and your family. Go ahead.
2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 27.
Go ahead.
Ye have not as it were forsaken me, but your own selves, saith the Most High.
Because you end up forsaking your own self, man. So it's not even that Judas sold out Christ. Because if Judas was really paying attention, he would have seen when he was reading Psalms and Isaiah that Christ was going to go through that either way. He just chose to be the one that did it to him. But Christ, it was written that Christ was going to go through the things that he was going to go through, and that he was going to be a sacrifice unto our people. He just chose to be the one that betrayed him. He chose to. So it's not even that he forsook Christ. He really forsook himself. Because at the end of it, he went and he threw that 30 pieces of silver right back at the priest's feet. And it was like, man, this was nothing to us. What is this to us? What is this money to us? They didn't even want it. They didn't even want the money back. So you'll see, man, when it's done, it's not that you didn't forsake the Most High. You forsook yourself. You forsook your own self. You end up becoming worse. He became so worse to where he committed suicide, man. He hung himself. He hung himself. But that's how it is with us, man. We don't forsake. We're not forsaking the Most High. We can do nothing against the truth. We can only do for the truth. We can't do nothing against it.
Because think about it. Once you can't come back to life, you might as well just die anyway. It said it's impossible for them that were once enlightened to come back.
Right.
So when you can't come back to eternal life, you might as well. You're as good as dead. Judas knew that. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna hang myself in the field.
Get it over with.
And I'm useless. I'm useless here. Go ahead.
Jumps to Hosea 4 and 6, and then the other brother give me Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 16.
Hosea 4 and 6.
Go ahead.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
And this is the thing. We have knowledge now. Us in the truth, we have knowledge. The knowledge is right here in front of us. A lot of us don't read it. A lot of us don't read it carefully. A lot of us don't meditate on it. So we're destroyed because of that. We're destroyed because we don't put enough into the book, into the word. It's like, instead of instead of studying, instead of reading, instead of watching class, we rather listen to music. We rather do anything else. Sorry.
Instead of working on the lack of faith that's in you, the lack of belief to not be Judas, you give yourself to everything else around you.
Done.
And you let that spirit enter, you let that spirit manifest, you let that spirit overtake you, and then you become this castaway brother, you become this castaway wife, you become this castaway sister, you become a castaway because instead of building up your armor to protect your mind from what's bound to happen to all men are tempted in all the same like manner. We're all tempted with doubt, we're all tempted with faithlessness, we're all tempted in the same ways.
Right.
Different levels, but instead of fortifying your mind against that, you didn't put a value on the treasure. You didn't put a value on the wisdom that the wisdom could help you. So that's how you get overtaken. That's how you get to this point. That's the steps. That's what you should be doing, is fortifying yourself to not get to Judas's level. Because it's bound to happen. It said Satan desire of you. He wants to sift you like wheat. He wants to separate you and use you for his own bidding. All men. It ain't just one brother. It ain't just one sister. It's all of us. Whoever he can latch onto and pull back into the pollution, listen, he gonna do it. And he's gonna do it with joy. And if you go kicking and screaming, that's one thing. But if you just walk right to the slaughter, that's a whole other thing. You just walk right into Satan's devices, like, oh yeah, my buddy Satan. Come on, man, we gotta do better. Go ahead.
Hey, bro.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
God, and it shows. It shows that the Most High rejects you. Go ahead.
That thou shalt be no priest to me.
God, and this is the cold part right here. Read.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children.
God, Most High said He's gonna forget our children. He's gonna forget our children too. But think about it. When we sacrifice Christ, right? When we sacrifice Christ, what did our people say?
That blood be upon us.
Blood be upon us and our children.
And our children.
Like, bro, why would you even include your children? Why would you do that?
Because my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Bro, like,
yeah, they said that blood be upon us and our children.
They ain't even do nothing. They ain't even born yet. Well, some of them ain't even born yet. And you gonna put it on them? But it shows you, man, they were already destroyed mentally.
Yeah, the ignorance of that deceitful spirit.
God.
That you know, like you brought it out earlier, it blinds you, and you get like this bloodlust for whatever. You get that lust for whatever you want, and thinking cohesively and coherently and objectively, it don't happen. It stops. You just think on what you want. Judas was like, man, I just want money, and I want this guy away from me. I want this guy away because he keeps doing things that I don't want.
Keeps correcting me.
He keeps
putting me in discipline.
Right. He keeps leaving us over here on ships, and he prays a lot. I don't want that.
He keeps leading us on ships, and the waves get bad, and we feel like we're going to drown, and he's down there sleeping, and he gets mad when we wake him up and tells us you got to have faith.
Yeah, he be chastising us with the word, like, I don't want to be around this guy. Get him out of here. Why didn't Judas just leave? Because it shows you, man, that deceitfulness was so strong in him, and since he had all, you know, it was like just like Saul. Since he was a thief, he let that spirit enter, and he let all these other spirits of rebellion. Then what did it turn into? Now I'm just a murderous nigga. Now I can commit, like you see how all these spirits just gateway into killing your brother. Oh my gosh! All these spirits. David's spirit of adultery gateway into murder. Saul's spirit tried to gateway into murder of David. Judas' spirit of thievery gateway into murder.
Even what Solomon did, he was pretty much murdering too.
What part?
With the sacrificing unto other gods.
What do you mean?
I thought he was offering up children. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I mean, he was offering the Molech, and
Yeah.
so yeah. Oh yeah. Cain, jealousy, murder. You see how it works? Like if you're not careful, man. But are you physically murdering anybody now? Nah. It's a spiritual battle, so you're spiritually sacrificing your brother or your sister.
Right.
Because you're no longer a battle component with them. You're no longer in the same fight. Now you're against them. You're just stacking the odds against them. You see that?
Helping the beast.
Right. Go ahead.
Read Ecclesiastes 4 verse 16.
Ecclesiasticus.
And then Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 22. And then Proverbs 21:16. I guess that. No, not Proverbs. Exodus chapter 32 and verse 8. And then that'll be it.
I'll get Exodus 32.
Read Ecclesiastes 4 and 16.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and verse 16.
Go ahead.
If a man commit himself unto her.
So that her is speaking of wisdom. So we just read about if you reject knowledge, the Most High is going to reject you and your children. But see, this is the thing. If you commit yourself onto wisdom, if you don't betray wisdom, read.
Come. In his generation.
No, read verse 16 from the top.
From the top. If a man commit himself unto her,
go ahead.
He shall inherit her.
Go ahead.
And his generation shall hold her in possession.
His generation shall hold her in possession. That means that the people that come after you, your kids, the ones that you teach, listen, your generations is going to hold her as well. But when you betray the wisdom, when you betray the spirit, you don't just betray yourself. You betray your brothers, your sisters, your nation, your kids. You betray your generation. You betray that generation to come after you. That's one thing that keeps me going, man. It's one thing that should keep all of us going, to know that it ends with us. This crap ends with us, man. The Christmas, the Easter, the false religions, it ends with our generation. It's done with us. My kids shouldn't have to. I'm going to give them what they need, the wisdom that they need, and the example that they need, so that they can make a choice for themselves. But the scripture is telling you right here, if I hold myself in the wisdom, diligently in the Most High, then not only will I inherit her, but my generation will inherit her too. So I'm not just forsaking myself, I'm forsaking me, my nation, my generation to come. And all I'm doing is just hindering the process, man, of waking up the 144,000 so that we can get out of here.
And the generations past. It said you crucify Christ afresh.
Oh, man.
So you forsake all the work, all the sacrifice of all the men before us that they have done. It's like it's like what they did was for no reason.
All right.
If we continue in the mode, if we forsake wisdom, go ahead.
Go to Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 22.
Wisdom of Solomon 14:22.
Go ahead.
Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of the Most High.
And this is what we don't want right here. It's one thing to err in the knowledge of the Most High. Go ahead.
But whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance,
Go ahead.
those so great plagues called they peace.
Come on, man. You got family members and you got friends. You got people you got co-workers. You go outside and you see these brothers and sisters, man, that live in this great war of ignorance. But it said that those plagues, they call it peace. It's peace to them. It's peaceful. How's that peaceful? You know it ain't peaceful. You live there. You've been through it. So why would you betray the spirit, the wisdom, the knowledge, the truth, your people, your nation, your family, yourself?
What is that one?
And go back into it because you thought that those plays were peace. You thought that was peace. You thought helping this beast out, helping the white man out was peaceful.
So they thought waking and baking.
Waking and baking is peaceful.
Drinking yourself into oblivion.
Drinking myself into oblivion is peaceful.
50 million baby daddies.
Child supporting 50 million baby daddies is peaceful. Diabetes because I can't stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster is peaceful. All that is peaceful.
Lack of discipline is peaceful.
Wars in the street.
Wars in the street. I can't live in peace. Scripture says, do no harm, so do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee. I can't stop doing harm. It's peaceful. It's peaceful to them. It's peaceful getting a hood rat and getting certain types of chicks. It's peaceful not waiting on the Most High to bless you with a good chick. It's peaceful just going out there and just getting a random guy or getting a random girl and not waiting on the Most High. That's peaceful.
Filthy.
And that's what Judas thought. Judas thought it was peaceful until he hung himself. Then he realized it's not peaceful. Go to Exodus, to close it out, go to Exodus 32 and verse 8.
Exodus chapter 32 and verse 8. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them.
Go ahead.
They have made them a molten calf and have worshipped it and have sacrificed thereunto and said, These be thy gods, O Yasha'Allah, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
So our people, when Moses went up into the mountains for 40 days and 40 nights, our people, we got so faithless. We betrayed the Most High, man. We was like, this golden calf right here, this cow, this donkey, this bull, whatever it was, this golden calf that we just made with our own hands, he's the one that brought us up out of the land of Egypt. We betrayed the Most High. 40 days after Moses goes up to the mountains, 40 days after seeing all that.
It was about 2 days.
2 days?
Yeah,
Oh, this was 2 days
It
in?
didn't even take 40. No, when you read in Josephus,
Oh, man.
it said that they didn't even think that he made it up. They immediately started making this molten calf.
2 days.
They immediately got faithless.
2 days, man.
Yeah.
But I ended on that note just to put us in remembrance, man. How quickly do we forget? We forget how the Most High was working for us, man. How He's been there for us, and we betrayed Him over nothing. Over nothing. We seen what He does, how He works, how He takes care of us, how He's been there for us, and how He continues to do that. We see how He does it in other people's lives around us. We see how He blesses those that humble themselves, that follow the path, that listen, that take the counsel, that desire discipline. We see all that. But I'm gonna just make me a molten calf. I'm gonna sacrifice it for $185 to smoke weed, to wake and bake, to have endless amount of marijuana, to fry my mind. That's what our people do, man. So knowing that we did this back in the day and that it's in us to do that, like Quatzazop was saying, man, we know that these spirits, they come to us. We gotta prepare ourselves, prepare our minds, so that we do not become the next Judas. Because Judas didn't have to be Judas. He could have been like Peter, where that rock was built, where Yahweh Shah was like, I'm gonna build the rock upon you. He could have been like Peter. He could have been like John. He could have been like Matthew, Luke, Mark. But nah, he's Judas. He's Judas Iscariot. So, yeah, with that, man, that's not what we want to be. Like, we don't want to be our brothers and sisters that was back in the wilderness that made a golden calf 2 days after Moses left. How quickly do we forget? So, yeah, that's it.
Any questions on that? Questions or comments? Good class. Very, very good class. Anything online? Anything online? Today, Monday? We'll wait a second, see if we got any questions on the topic. If not, we'll end it.
I don't know if this question was asked, answered. Dawad asks, was Judas always a thief?
Yeah, I talked about it.
Oh, okay.
I'm done with that. Judas. Yeah, good class. Good class. All right. If there's no questions, we'll shut it down here. We'll be back Wednesday from 7 to 9. We'll be back Friday from 6 to 8. All right. So we thank everybody online for joining us. Hopefully y'all got edified. Hopefully y'all look at these classes. You know, we shorten these classes so that way it's not too much info, but we make the point. So, you know, hopefully the point is going through in this short time for y'all. We're doing it that way. It's a lot of information, 3 hours. So we shorten it, but we try to make it potent, but digestible. So hopefully it's working out. Let us know feedback. If y'all got classes that y'all want us to do, hit us up. You can hit me up. You can hit up Kazakia, and we'll get those classes done for y'all. Just a reminder, anybody that got to get their vow in for the school, if you haven't done so, please do so. Everyone that's given, we appreciate you. Virginia appreciates you. And with that, we'll end it. We'll say shalom.
Shalom.
The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah, the Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. Yeah. The Most High is my rock. I keep my Bible on top. The Most High is my rock. No time for cupcake and the cutting. Hit the streets and start cutting. The Israelites are bubbling. The Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can keep the stuffing. It's pagan, disdain, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button. And I feel sorry for you if you think the Lord is bluffing. That's why I hit the booth and I tell the truth. Are you fishing with the truth? Homie, where's your fruit? If the Most High is your rock, don't treat him like a side piece. Come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you